We are live, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Welcome to the inauguration of the Bratzee Hour, a new podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Shaq, otherwise known as Lucas.
I'm Bear.
So here on the Bratzee Hour, we're gonna take the time to discuss the topics that have been on the top of your head. So if you want to just send some questions in the chat, whatever, we'll be here twice a week starting now. The quarantine's got us trying to find some things to do, so we thought a nice podcast would be great. Okay.
Right.
What do we want to open up the first topic with? Let's go with
Go ahead.
the NFL offseason because of Corona. What are our thoughts? I'm going to open the floor to you guys.
All right, I guess I'll start it off. We had some big moves. We got the Cowboys finally having a capable kicker to kick their field goals with Greg Zuerlein, otherwise known as Legatron from the Rams. We have Todd Gurley off to the Falcons now. The arguable GOAT, TB12, going to Tampa Bay.
Lucas, I'm going to stop you right there. So before we start this long many podcasts, do not ever refer to Tom Brady as the maybe GOAT. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Although past fans may be angry that he left, he is the GOAT. We have to remember 6 rings here. And Shaq, I don't think that Shaq is a big Broncos fan and a big Peyton Manning guy. So
can I say I love the class. I love the commercial.
We don't respect Shaq's football opinion here. But continue, Shaq.
We got major moves with receivers. Stephon Diggs has gone to the Bills. I think that's a major benefit for the Bills, knowing that they had a couple nice deep threats and slot receivers, but the addition of Stephon Diggs is definitely going to help their long pass range, especially with their developing quarterback, Josh Allen. It's important to have these, nice weapons in their offense.
Speaking of wide receivers, I think the big deal, DeAndre Hopkins going to the
Unexpected
for nothing.
They took him for a bag of chips.
Nothing.
I think that's gonna be big for the Cardinals. Because Kyler Murray going to take it. I'm not
disgusting.
Yeah,
terrible.
I'm not a big guy on Kyler Murray. I think that he's not tall enough. Actually, I think that the height's gonna be a problem, and just being able to see down the field, I think he's gonna struggle. But going into his sophomore year, he had a pretty good freshman year in the NFL. So I think that with DeAndre Hopkins, he might be able to do something. We'll have to see. That's going to be interesting. But as Lucas just said, I think that Stephon Diggs to the Bills is probably the biggest offensive threat movement outside of Tom Brady this offseason, just because, no one expected that. But think of the Bills. The Bills were a team last year that were, one piece away. And I thought the Bills were pretty good. You got Josh Allen developing nicely, good runner, and just to give him another threat to throw to, I think that's going to be big for the Bills. I actually got them going to the Super Bowl.
For sure. They're definitely a huge contender. And I think I have Indianapolis going somewhere too. Phillip Rivers with the Colts.
No.
The only reason I say this is because their division just got a hell of a lot easier, right? It used to be the Texans or nothing because the rest of the teams, quite frankly, stink. And
Deshaun Watson, I don't know, man.
I mean, but he lost his star receiver for, again, nothing. He definitely got a nice backfield to definitely, lift the weight off his shoulders in David Johnson. David Johnson's getting old, though. He'll probably play, 40% of the season, maybe 50. I don't see him being there the whole time. I don't see him staying healthy. I think that if the Texans want to move forward, they need a younger defense with the loss of Jadeveon Clowney. They need younger receivers. They only have a couple with Kenny Stills. That was a pretty good move. Hopefully he'll get moved up to a number 1, number 2 receiver. They need to start thinking about how they can use Deshaun Watson and basically bring out his full potential.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson showed that he's a franchise QB for sure last season. But, taking away arguably the best receiver in the league from him, I want to see how he'll react. And, how do you guys think that he's going to, come out this season without his number 1 option? Obviously, the backfield's a little stronger with David Johnson, but I'm not a big David Johnson believer. I think he's old, injury prone, and I don't think it's a great idea. I don't think the Texans made a good trade there.
For sure. I mean, it was definitely interesting to see how Bill O'Brien, as the general manager, really like stepped in, because he said this season, I want to take over as general manager, and he enforced this decision. I personally think it was a mistake. I mean, maybe it's going to influence Deshaun Watson's game in a sense that he'll be able to adapt without his number one receiver. Maybe he uses the backfield a little bit more with screen plays and et cetera, especially due to his ability to scramble outside the pocket. But I think that Bill O'Brien taking over the GM spot was not a great decision. I think they probably should have left it to the previous general manager, and that he made a big mistake in losing his number one receiver. I think that's definitely gonna kill him this season. But how about the Bucks? Does anybody
Arguably
going pretty far?
I think the big story is going to be who does better, Belichick or Brady? Because they've been together obviously for 20 years, had so much success, greatest dynasty ever in the NFL, all sports, I'd say. But how do we really like Cam Newton coming with Belichick? That could be a good one. You see the highlights there.
Right here, gentlemen.
Yes.
This man, Cam Newton,
Superman for sure.
what could he do? Look at this. It doesn't get much better than that.
That's prime Cam Newton. Can he come back to that form?
Well, I think if anybody can really bring that back out of him, I think if it's going to be any coach, it's going to be Bill Belichick.
I think coming out of this trade with like a new perspective, other than just being sad about Brady leaving the Pats and like thinking about that, I think that although the Pats I'm probably going to say are going to be worse, just depending on who they get. Obviously, lots of Deshaun Watson trade movers that have been fueled up lately. I don't see that happening, to be honest. But like someone like Cam Newton or Bridgewater, I think that both the Tom Brady and Belichick we're going to see something good. I think that Brady fits in very well with the Buccaneers. You got threats like Mike Godwin, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. They're all great receivers. I'm personally really excited to see Brady there.
Yeah. At first I actually had him going to LA. But now I'm kind of worried for LA. They didn't get a star quarterback. They have Tyrod Taylor, who was previously on the Bills before they were able to draft a nice rookie quarterback, Josh Allen. He did not do so great. I personally believe that Tyrod Taylor is not going to be able to do much for the LA Chargers, even though they have great offensive weapons, especially with the loss in the backfield of Melvin Gordon going to the Broncos. The Broncos are also in need of a quarterback. So I'm going to be very interested to see who's going to lead that division within Broncos, Chargers, etc. I wonder who's going to be the key offensive player, quarterback, to lead those amazing weapons into the playoffs, because right now they don't have somebody who can really throw the football and utilize the weapons that they have.
Fair. I know you're a big wide receiver fan, but what do you think the Chargers will do? Do you think they'll like try to bring in someone else, or I mean they got Tyrod Taylor,
as an avid Madden player and a man who loves a good mobile quarterback, I'm content with Tyrod Taylor. He has some pace going down that field. He has some jukes. And if we're talking Madden, and that's the only reason I would ever like the Chargers, Tyrod Taylor's not bad in Madden.
Tyrod Taylor might not be bad.
There's an upside to Tom Brady leaving. On Madden, for the past 10 years, I have not once selected the Patriots. So, with Cam Newton coming our way, I ask you, who will be the best team in Madden next year? And there's only one answer. It is the New England Patriots.
Arguably.
I don't know.
Arguably.
We do play a lot of Madden, but I don't think Madden affects real life, Horkin.
Madden is real life.
Well, they had the Ravens #1, and what happened to the Ravens this year? They couldn't stop Derrick Henry, really? I mean,
no one could stop Derrick Henry.
True, but it's amazing how, everybody was praising Lamar Jackson, and then he ended up being basically a complete bust in the playoffs. Well, he's 0-2 in the playoffs. He hasn't won a game. I feel like he cracks under pressure, and he basically he doesn't turn on. I mean, he just can't. He has not won a single playoff game. He didn't do great. He did awful last year. He didn't do great this year. Not to mention, he was supposed to be carrying his offense while the defense tried to stop Derrick Henry. I'm very curious to see if the Ravens can bring it in this year. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of scared. I think the Ravens were a team that was almost overhyped. I feel like KC was always more well-rounded in the sense that they had all they need is a good backfield, and I feel like their running backs like Damian Williams and David Williams are both growing, and that they could both be pretty strong halfbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs. But I'm excited to see what happens in the AFC. You have a lot of contenders that don't have quarterbacks yet, a lot of contenders that need wide receivers, the Pats being one of them. James keeps talking about Cam Newton. We don't even know if he'll be healthy again. But there's a lot of wild cards in this season.
Well,
I don't know, but go ahead, Bear.
Joe, I think you can go on this topic for a few more seconds, then we're going to move over to the crowd, the audience.
Okay, so I'll just do my closing statements on this. I'm gonna make my pick for the Super Bowl this year. I think that we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see the Bills, and then I think we're gonna be surprised. I think the Saints are gonna go.
They need to. It's been too long.
Yeah, I think Breeze is gonna pull something out of the hat.
Amen. That'd be fantastic. I think he deserves it after being robbed for years. All right, let's roll to the crowd. James, what you got for us?
All right, so we have a first question from a random supporter of the channel named Las Daitha, who asked, who is the best quarterback of all time after Tom Brady?
I'll let Lucas take this one to start. I know he's very passionate on this.
I am very passionate about this. I, as a big Peyton Manning fan, do believe it is Peyton Manning. A lot of people ask why. Why not Joe Montana? He had more rings. Why not Dan Marino? He had more talent. All of these are true. But Peyton Manning had one thing that
Whoa. I'm going to stop you there. So we're talking about the greatest quarterback. If he's not the second most talented, if he didn't win the second most rings, what really qualifies him?
Well, here's the thing. Peyton Manning had the most football IQ, I believe. I put him and Tom Brady at the same level in the league ever, right? He was always prepared, basically mistake-free until he had a couple of injuries in his neck, his elbow, and his foot. And if you look at the teams that he was on, he never had a coach to really bring out his potential. I think if he had a coach like Belichick, Bill Parcells, one of the great coaches at the time, even Sean Payton as an offensive mastermind, I think he would have probably went over to win 4 or 5 Super Bowls. Right. But I believe that Peyton Manning, he was the quarterback, he was the game manager, and he was the offensive coordinator. He ran the entire offense on his back. The whole audible Omaha thing is all him. All the audibles in football, you see even Brady touching his helmet. A lot of these plays you can see on Peyton's places when he was talking to Brady on a golf course. Brady said, I used that play off you, and I had 50% of Gronk's offensive usage was off of that one play. And
but can you really slide past the fact that Peyton Manning got literally and metaphorically carried to one of his rings by his defense, arguably both of his rings?
Listen, that's an argument that's always going to be made. But, I mean, you can make that argument.
An argument that's always valid.
No, it is always valid, but you can look at a bunch of rings. If you purely talk about rings, you can also say, like, if Atlanta's coach didn't suck, they probably would have won the Atlanta game. If
Tom Brady was – that game was inevitable. No matter what close they were playing.
Listen,
it was inevitable.
It was easily the greatest Super Bowl I've ever watched. But look at even the kick. If Vinatieri shanked that right, you guys don't win that Super Bowl, right? There are always factors that are going to happen. But when you look at Peyton Manning getting carried, for starters, he was injured. 2 years ago, 2 years before that Super Bowl, he broke every record in the book after getting cut by his own team, the Colts, that he was drafted by. He broke every record, go to the Super Bowl, and then he has to play the Legion of Boom, where his offensive line literally snapped under pressure, snapped the ball, and his defense couldn't handle Russell Wilson at all. So I feel like the defense, instead of carrying him, basically repaid the favor and getting him that Super Bowl that he should have won against.
That's foolish.
Lucas, while you're talking, we have a comment from the crowd that says Peyton Manning had all the receivers he needed.
I would like you to name more than 3 receivers that didn't have over 35 drops in a season. Emmanuel Sanders did.
Emmanuel Sanders, he was a very impactful player. You can't just say that because he made 30.
Dude, he only was impactful when he was getting the perfect passes from Manning. Let's be real. He had over 35 drops per season, and 11 of them were in the red zone. I mean, I'm not saying that Peyton Manning had no receivers, because, I mean, everybody has receivers, right? But he easily did not have the coaching staff he needed. He did not have the offensive line he needed, and he never had the tight end he needed. And I think we really overlooked the tight end position, right? Not only do they block for you in a sense that you get more time to read the field and read the defense, they also give you a tall option that can basically make catches over anybody. We know Gronkowski, greatest tight end to ever play the game. Take away Gronkowski out of those 3 Super Bowls, do you get it? No one.
Gronkowski didn't play in multiple Super Bowls that we won.
The 3 he played in, Joe, he played a massive contribution.
Okay, and we won Super Bowl rings without him. Like,
you did.
It goes to show that Brady didn't need him.
Without
the coach, do you see Belichick out there throwing the ball? I think that coach involvement's really overrated. Like, if you can just call a play and read a situation, I think it's pretty easy. I mean, it's not pretty easy, but obviously coaching is obviously an impact. But the players at the end of the day, you can't just, the coach isn't going to be running the play. It's the players.
Pete Carroll, who decides to throw on second and goal.
I know, that's what I said. If you can read a situation, pick the simple play. That's an occasion where the coach was an idiot. But you can't say Pete Carroll's carrying the Seahawks. Russell Wilson carries the Seahawks.
Exactly, off pure talent.
Russell Wilson did not carry the Seahawks to that Super Bowl.
Legion of Boom. Legion of Boom. I was talking about this here.
Let's be completely realistic, right? All these teams always have something that's perfect. When you look at Manning's Super Bowl in Indy, he was the star player on that team. He carried that team, and he won the Super Bowl. I don't care how talented you are as a quarterback. If you don't have the offensive mindset like Manning does, you're not second place. Listen, after this 6th Super Bowl, I believe Tom Brady is, after his 6th, I openly admit Tom Brady, it hurts me to say this, but is the GOAT. I truly do believe that. And
I've been waiting to hear you say that since the 3rd grade.
I know, it's painful. You have no idea. I feel like a stake went through my heart. But if
we've been talking about the man on Joe Hall's shirt for quite a while now, but now we need to talk about the thing on the front of Mr. Big Shaq's shirt.
Oh, my Lakers jersey, number 34.
And we have a comment from the crowd by Mr. Shea Smith, the beautiful man he is. The Lakers suck. Admit it.
The Lakers are worse than the Celtics.
Listen,
undebatable.
I'll be honest. Am I a giant Lakers fan? No. But I am a massive Shaq fan. I truly believe that the Celtics as a franchise have accomplished more. I believe that the Celtics have had better legends. I believe that I'm a Celtics fan personally. Now, I have this jersey because
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
That's just revolting.
Would I get away with wearing a Manchester United shirt as a Liverpool fan?
Lucas, why don't you explain to him why you're wearing a Shaq jersey? Explain to him why you're a fan.
I am a massive Shaq fan because I am a big fan of dominance, right? Dominance on either the football field, the basketball court.
He likes getting dominated.
And I mean, Shaq is the most dominant big of all time, easily. I mean, he wins 3 championships and 3 finals MVPs, mind you, with Kobe, and then he gets traded to Miami because they wanted more cap space for Kobe. And what does he say when he gets there? He says, Miami, I'm going to win you a championship. That year, Shaq wins Miami a championship with only second-year Dwayne Wade. Not taking anything away from Dwayne Wade, but I mean to go in and just win another one, and then he gave him 4 championships. Not to mention his MVPs, not to mention his final MVPs, 4 championships. He had outstanding numbers. He was a massive help on defense. And earlier, before he got injured and started ring chasing, I don't call it that, but ring chasing. Before he hurt his knees, he could run the floor like no other big and use amazing post moves to get to them. Listen, when you talk about dominance and you talk about which player had such an impact on the floor, especially from 94 to probably 2001, 2002, I don't think nobody comes close to Shaq.
All right, so we have another question for the panel. Who are the most dominant NBA centers? And
I'll take this one.
We've talked about all time. Lucas gave his opinion on that. Let's talk about right now.
Right now.
We can list out some names first. I think Anthony Davis.
He's playing more power.
Sure.
When he played center, he's more of a power forward. He's more of a natural power forward, but he's a good center. But Joel Embiid's definitely up there. You can't discredit Joel Embiid.
For sure. I mean, you look at centers in this league, and there aren't a lot. But to be honest with you, if I had to go most dominant, I think when I hear the word dominant, I think of one man, the Greek Freak. I mean, you see
he's
him
not a center, Lucas.
The question is center, Lucas.
Dominant center.
This man.
Listen, you see him more out of power forwards.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call Bratzee.
This is the Bratzee hour.
This is the Bratzee hour right here with Lucas.
Listen, when you say most dominant in the NBA, you always think the Greek Freak. I mean, that's just a fact, right?
We're talking. When you think most dominant, read the question for me, Lucas. What does it say?
Who are the most dominant NBA centers? He's played center before, Joe.
He's not a natural center. He is not a better center than Enes Kanter. If you play, I don't know. But at the center position, he's not
in game. They both rotate in game. Listen, but I think an underrated center, and I'm going to say this, I might get some backlash from you guys. I think Clint Capella on the Rockets, I think he does a lot for the team, a lot more than people think. He's very good with the lobs. He's very good at rebounds, and he plays stellar defense. I mean, what more would you want from a center?
Rebounds. So I'd say underrated one, Andre Drummond. He's on the Cavs now, but
yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say he's still putting up numbers, but obviously the NBA season is over. We'll get to that later, but I think with the season he was having with the Cavs, he was starting to really turn it up, get into his groove there. Obviously, the Cavs weren't going to the playoffs. That's not happening. They're terrible. I don't believe that any player on their roster besides Kevin Love, Andre Drummond, and maybe Colin Sexton have some talent. The other ones belong in the G League, mostly.
Sure. I want to throw a name in the pot right now. You may be guessing him. He is one of the best defensive players of all time. He has been able to stop the league single-handedly. Rudy Gobert.
The only thing he did was actually stop the league.
Stop the league for sure. Quite frankly, he is the Frenchman himself. He is very dominant. He's great on the glass. He's great in the lobs. He's great in the paint. He even has a nice. It's a low percentage, but mid-range jumpers from him is not that bad actually. If he gets the open shot. The only thing is, I'm quite frankly disgusted with his actions over the past couple of months. Basically shutting down the NBA, infecting people on his team with the new virus, COVID-19. But I mean, for sure, you can definitely guess Rudy Gobert. He's definitely somebody that people should keep an eye out for. I think he's just getting started. I think that he can definitely I think the Jazz have a legitimate chance at a title in the near future. Maybe not now, but they have a lot of weapons. Donovan. From there.
Okay. I think that all of us have seen the video by now. Rudy Gobert going around the mic, shaking him, putting his mouth near him, obviously making a joke about the whole corona situation. But, I've heard there's been reports that apparently Donovan Mitchell could have spread it to Rudy Gobert. They don't really have an idea to tell, so he doesn't really stop the league.
All right, that's true. All right, maybe he's not the shutdown defender that we were all thinking of. Maybe it could be Mitchell.
But it's very immature what he did. I think that he should. He has been apologizing, but I think that maybe. And I'm not aware if he was one of the players that made a donation towards maybe helping out the people in the Jazz organization that are out of a job right now, or something like that. But I think that after what he did with the immature action, I think that he should be making very large donation to the organization or some sort of corona relief organization.
Yeah. I mean, we can see him there stuffing the Celtics, sadly. But, I mean, we even have people in our own organization, Marcus Smart. When you talk about defense in general, Marcus Smart is somebody who comes up, the way he influences the game when he's in it, the way the different energy he brings to the court. Now he's been tested positive for COVID-19 too. I mean, back to the centers. Steven Adams on OKC has done some things that, I think he's definitely undertoned. He's great on defense. Again, great on the glass with the boards. Not so much of a shooter. He hasn't really developed a jump shot. I haven't seen any center lately with a developed jump shot. Previously, I think Al Horford and Joel Embiid, as you said, Joe, were probably centers that were very valuable due to their jump shot. They can shoot the three pretty consistently. But I think Steven Adams, if only he developed a jump shot, I think he could actually be something special.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. The Thunder, Steven Adams been contributing. The Thunder were definitely surprising a lot of people this year. But the trading Westbrook, that was a big move. That franchise player for so long. They bring in someone like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, ton of picks, Danilo Gallinari, and Chris Paul. And they're a high seed. Were they 5 seed when they ended in the West?
I believe they were. And Chris Paul was, I think he was top 4 or 5 in leading the league in assists. I mean, Paul is he seems ageless. Every year he comes in and comes out averaging 20-plus points, 10-plus assists, always contributing to the team, finding the open man, finding opportunities to score. And Bill Russell, not too long ago, just said that the NBA, it's about buckets. And
Otis, top right. Some of the
comment from the crowd. Otis
a Barrel FC legend.
So I think that brings us to the question: who is the greatest soccer player in the world right now?
Wow, Chelsea. We do.
We'll put it behind Otis, Messi, and Ronaldo. Okay, the big 3 are past us. Who's number 4?
Number 1. I'll let you start because I kind of have an interesting take.
We know your take, Hader.
Do you?
Yeah, we'll let it simmer. It does. Hader is a big Neymar guy.
I'm a huge Neymar. Oh, I like that, Bear.
Thank you. I put it up good for you.
But between Messi and Ronaldo, as a soccer fan growing up, I've always been I think the international level is a lot. I feel like it holds more importance than the club level. So with
that's
that, listen,
that's literally just a joke.
Bratzee hour.
Come on, man. Soccer has been an international sport for as long as we can all remember, right?
And it's been a club sport for the same amount of time.
For sure. But when it matters more, what signifies the greats of soccer? Maradona.
The greats of soccer. Maradona. The hand of God. That was in 1974.
Dude,
there's players like Messi, Ronaldo. They've never won the World Cup.
The only
Does that make them not great?
I'm not saying that they're not great. I'm just
your favorite player, Neymar. Where's his World Cup?
He doesn't have one. That's why I don't.
Exactly.
That's why I don't put him the best. I truly believe the best in the world.
But
Neymar's won a Copa America, and he's won 2 more.
No one cares about the Copa America. There's no European teams in the Copa America.
He has never competed at a level where he should be on an international stage. And I think that definitely downplays his greatness compared to Ronaldo. who in fact won a Euro.
He didn't play that game.
He didn't play that game, but who got him there? Him.
Messi got his team to the World Cup final.
No, and then Messi choked a penalty.
He had 5 goals. That's not getting his team
Messi,
there.
dude.
Neymar had 5 goals and he missed the semifinal. Come on, guys. Messi did not perform.
You know, if you've ever watched Messi play a game, it's not the goals. He gets the goals as much as he needs.
Right.
But it's not the goals. He makes every single player on that field better. And he makes everyone around him. He sucks 2 defenders onto him at all times. In your head, if you're playing defense and Lionel Messi's running down the wing, you're scared of your mind. You're not looking over your shoulder.
That's what you're thinking. You're not thinking about someone like Suarez or Dembele running down the wing because they have so many weapons. And you just got Messi. Name a midfielder from Barcelona that's ever been a disappointment. You got legends that come from the Barca midfield like Iniesta, Xavi, someone like current Rakitic. They're always turning out good midfielders because they have people to feed to. Someone like Messi up top who draws the defense, you always have to think about him. And that's the key to being dominant in all sports. People are always thinking of you.
For sure. But I think that Ronaldo, like you look at Ronaldo's past, right? Look what he did on Real Madrid. How many Copa del Reys did he win? Look at the Ballon d'Or number.
No one cares
right?
about the Copa del Rey.
Look at the stats. I mean, he has scored an insane amount. Although he won 2 Champions Leagues in year 2016 to 17. Then he won another with Real Madrid, 2018 to 19. And then finally, he goes to Juventus and wins another one, taking it from Real Madrid, winning it in 2019 to 2019 last year. I mean, Ronaldo is just a player that.
What do you say? Ronaldo did not win the Champions League with Juventus.
Not last year, but he got them farther in it than he ever did Real Madrid.
What?
Okay.
What are you talking about?
That's not true.
Hold on. We'll pause the video. What?
Let's get a little stat check for that. Lucas, back that up.
Dude, you know who won it last year? Do you want to know who won it last year?
You know who won it.
Liverpool.
Okay. Please. Listen, Ronaldo is the best. He's more physical. He has more of a shot. He pulls more defenders than Messi, and he's always played with less.
No.
He's always played with less of a team. Barcelona has always been better than Real Madrid. Joe,
yeah, you know why they're better? Because
I've been a fan of Liverpool my whole life. Don't talk about bandwagon. You're bounced back and forth between whatever team is the best player.
That is not.
Adar.
I'm a Neymar fan to heart.
Pathetic.
Not pathetic at all. Ronaldo is better than Messi, hands down.
All right, we have a comment from the crowd. A man with
a
Aguero picture is saying that Ronaldo is the best.
Not wrong, my friend. Not wrong.
An Argentina player, Aguero, who played for Man City. Ronaldo played for Manchester United. And you're still saying Ronaldo's the best.
Dude, Messi has player. He's never carried a team to win. He might get them there and lose, but Ronaldo can carry a team.
Name the team Ronaldo's carried.
Real Madrid. He's won them.
George was
more Ballon d'Ors.
You want me to name the Karim Benzema, Gareth Bale, Luka Modric, Sergio Ramos, Rafael Varane. In their defense, Carvajal. And they're having keeper troubles, but they have Courtois. I'm pretty sure he got benched for Keylor Navas this season, though.
Yeah, he did.
But they are a very good team, and they were a very good team. And when Ronaldo was there, got legends like Iker Casillas and stuff. So he was not carrying anything.
Would you put that team over Barcelona? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
At the time, they were near the same level, and at times, the Real Madrid was better than Barcelona.
Because of Ronaldo.
No, not true at all. Let's bring Daitha in here, actually.
We're going to add a guest right now, a soccer expert, you could say, by the name of Lost Daitha.
Mr. Lost Daitha, why don't you send me your email so we can get you a link and you can talk for a little while?
Get your email in the chat. I'll add you as a guest.
Yeah.
No,
anyone else would like to join as a guest, put your email in and we'll.
You can come in, say a quick opinion, ask a question.
We're currently sitting at about 6 viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in for the first episode of the Bratzee Hour podcast.
Comment your name if you're in here.
Otis is the best of all time.
Otis is my dad.
Otis, Daitha, Luke, Fish. We had a couple people come in. Safi family left.
You know what? I'm gonna give Mr. Daitha a FaceTime call so we can come on and talk.
Oh, I'm adding him right now.
Okay, I won't.
Can you please read me that thing?
James.f.lucas@icloud.com.
You just exposed his email.
I feel like that's very witty.
He just exposed his real name and email. Sorry, Daitha.
All right.
Okay. Well, we'll get a little.
Oh my! Oh!
Look at that, Lucas. Look at that skill. Ronaldo does not have that type of. Ronaldo
He's got it in his own
second
half.
best.
Ronaldo's bicycle kick, James. You're being biased.
Look at that pace.
Listen, I'm not saying
I
Messi.
paused the video right here. I don't think you would score from here.
I could.
You cannot score from this point.
I could.
Okay, we're not talking about us.
If we were, though, I could.
He came from his own half and did that.
Listen, are you is the question is who's the best between them in their entire career, or who's the best right now? Right now,
Lionel Messi is more successful, better, and is better now.
Messi's better right now and all time.
No, right now, Ronaldo's more physical.
Ronaldo is not good.
Oh my God, he's literally played bad this year. Well, not bad, but he did not play up to his standards this year.
And Messi did?
Yes.
No, he did not. And
yes,
he had 2 goals and 1 assist. That's nothing. Ronaldo had 3 goals and 3 assists. Juventus is
Lucas. Why don't you just remind me who won the Ballon d'Or this year?
Messi.
Exactly. And you're saying he didn't perform? What are you saying?
He didn't deserve it. Ronaldo still has more Ballon d'Ors all time.
What are you? Oh my God.
All right, let's bring up some stats right here for you.
All right, talk to me.
Hold on, we are bringing this in. I want to bring your attention here to the most goals and assists combined in the top 5 European leagues this year. Number 1, Immobile. He's doing incredible for Lazio right now. Has them pushing for a title, possibly, if the season does not get voided. Number 4, you see Messi. Now, that's moved down. Sancho. We're moving down. Where's Ronaldo? Mbappe.
Okay, so
There he is.
momentarily.
Cristiano Ronaldo. 20th.
Okay, momentarily, we're going to have our first guest come in and give his opinion on the Ronaldo versus Messi debate. Let's welcome Daitha in.
All right, Daith.
Is he backstage?
He is not in.
Okay, I'll give him a message.
I truly believe that right now, at the moment, Ronaldo is more physical. I believe that he can do more on the field with the people he's got. I mean, look at Messi's team, man. Dembele, a quick young.
Look at Ronaldo's team.
Look at Ronaldo's team.
Compared to Barcelona, guys, give me a break. We both know
Juventus is literally a top tier team.
They are.
They have arguably the second best defense in the world. Think about it.
Arguably.
Yeah. They're a very good defense. You got Chiellini, Bonucci, Alexandro, Szczesny,
and Man Cities.
Okay. We got Daitha coming. Daitha, why don't you give us your opinion on this?
Okay, so what are we talking about? Is it who's the best currently or who is the best of all time?
That was my question. All time with Messi, but currently I say Ronaldo.
Give us both.
Both. Well, I saw you mentioned earlier that Messi was playing with better players and he couldn't carry a team on his own. And Ronaldo can carry a team on his own. I disagree with that. I think both of them are good enough to carry a team on their own. Both of them are world class. Both of them are top players now and best players in the world right now and considered by some people the best ever. And you see Ronaldo is playing a big part at Juventus. And you could say, well, Messi has been playing in La Liga his whole life. Maybe if he goes to bigger leagues like the Premier League, he wouldn't be as good. But Ronaldo has played in the Premier League, tore it up, was very good. Played in La Liga, was very good. Now is in Serie A, is very good. So Ronaldo has been very good. But Messi, you can't really talk about other leagues because he's loyal to Barcelona, of course. But he has been spectacular. He has been Barcelona's best player for so long. He has played, you could say he's played alongside Neymar and Suarez and other great players. But in my opinion, Messi is the greatest of all time between the two and is the greatest right now between the two.
Right. Thank you, Daitha. So that's enough time we have for Daitha. Go ahead and leave the chat for me. Thank you. Lucas, that was a great point. What do you say to that?
I think he made great points, especially with the club. Looking back on it, Messi has definitely been Barcelona's basically franchise, right? I mean, without Messi, you don't think Barcelona. He's been the star player for as long as I can remember, ever since Ronaldinho era and Puyol era and etc. He made great points about Ronaldo going to different leagues. But I mean, I think it's very tough to compare to the two, only due to the fact that I think they both have different styles of play. I mean, Messi is more of an opportunistic player. He makes a lot of opportunities for people that he's giving the ball to. He impacts the game in a sense that he does assists, he does free kicks, he does penalties, and he has amazing finishing skills on his own. When Ronaldo is more of I'm going to say it, egotistical type player. I mean, his finishing skill is possibly the best in the world. I mean, I don't see him miss, right?
Oh my goodness! Have you ever watched the game?
You stretched it.
He takes about 1 million shots a game and scores half of them. Not even half of them.
I already said one. Egotistical.
And then you said you don't see him miss. So
listen. Obviously I'm exaggerating, but he is no doubt one of the best finishers the game has ever seen. No doubt.
One of them. He's one of the most prolific goal scorers.
Yeah.
He's a very good goal scorer, but he's not one of the best finishers of all time.
I put him up there. I would.
He's definitely legendary free kicks. He's good at free kicks.
Yeah.
But efficiency wise, I don't think he's one of the best ever.
Come on.
If I had to put my life on a player running at one-on-one at a goalkeeper, I would not give it to Ronaldo. I'll tell you that much.
If I had to,
I'll tell you right now. I'm giving it to
Messi.
Exactly. I wouldn't give it to Messi either. But I'm going to tell you who is the most clinical in front of goal finish. Honestly, the most clinical player in soccer today. It's Luka Modric.
You'd give the ball to Modric on that breakaway.
Yes.
Well, you know the answer.
In front of the net to finish the shot? Yes, I'd give it a Modric.
This player gets a breakaway, hockey-style penalty.
And this is where you'd say Bratzee hour. He is...
And you're saying
I'd give it to someone I'd give it a lot of people. Maybe Mbappe is up there.
No. Not a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. I'd give it to one person and one person only.
Neymar, we get it. Mohamed Salah. Salah?
In front of the goal, he is very
he does that. He breaks away with pace.
True.
Sadio Mane's up there.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, I think pace and incredible tactical skills with the soccer ball are very important when you're on that one-on-one breakaway. I think Mo Salah has that. I think Mane has that, and I think Neymar has it the best, especially with the finesse he has. He basically puts a little sauce on it.
That's just ridiculous.
I've always thought it was Neymar. I'll always think it's Neymar. I mean, that's just it is what it is. You look at his highlights from the past year, he's come off a torn ligament in his foot. He came in and he's been scoring goals left and right. All time he has over 250 now, over 150 assists. I mean, I think what he's done with the little age and the little experience he's had is phenomenal. And I think that if he wins a World Cup, I think he could take the edge over, I think, Ronaldo all time. I think if Neymar gets a World Cup, he gets over Ronaldo. I wouldn't say he'd go over Messi yet, only because I think over the years, as Daita said, Messi in La Liga has accomplished everything. There's nothing he hasn't done. I think the only thing that Messi or Neymar have to do is win a World Cup to really signify as greatest of all time.
Neither of them are getting the World Cup.
That title.
Neither of them will get. I don't think they will, but I think Neymar.
Portugal is definitely not getting a World Cup. No. Brazil probably not.
Maybe.
And I don't see Argentina winning it. I think a surprise World Cup contender for coming up, I'd say, well, the clear cut is France. But one that I've started to like, I've started to notice a lot of good players. And I've mentioned this before, the Netherlands.
Good show.
Think about it. They got great defense, great midfield, and a good attack. So I think it's a well-rounded team.
I don't know if their attack is World Cup winning just yet.
I don't know. So I think it's on the way.
So like 2.
Daitha just said in the chat, England have a big chance for the future of the World Cup.
Before we move to that, let me just pull up one thing for you. Just to show you why Mohamed Salah would save my life in this situation. Right here. Hold on. Here.
Look at him. The tiny dancer up the wing.
He's incredible on the one-on-one breakaways. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Lost it home.
Easily. Easy goal.
That was calm.
He reminds me of a lot of my play style. The placement, the ability to finish, thoughtfulness of the ball. I mean, it's like I see a lot of myself in him, and that's, I think, why he really.
You model your game after him.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Lucas. Why don't you go ahead and log off for me? Just like leave.
Oh, we got Andrew Beckwith and the
man,
great friend of ours. Great contribution to the Bratzee Hour. Definitely big inspiration. He knows quite a bit about sports. I think we should definitely have him on the show one day.
A good guest.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next topic. England have a big chance for.
I got started on this. England always has a solid roster. I've never there's been years where England's had okay players. This year they have a great roster, but England just never seems to get it done in recent years. They have one World Cup of all time. It was a while back, but
way long time back.
Yeah, but I just don't see them. They have good youth. They have a young core, but I just don't see England getting it done anytime soon.
I don't think there's an Englishman on that team that has what I would call clutch. There's no clutch factor in that team.
Agreed. And I mean, you look at Harry Kane, right? I think he's a fantastic finisher, but if we look at most of his goals in the previous World Cup and on the international level, I don't think they're up to snub with anything Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe, or even Antoine Griezmann puts up. Most of them are just kind of shoo-ins. I mean, I definitely think listen, Daita's putting in the chat right now. You have not only great players, you have great young players who can possibly be there for generations. I think all of them have exquisite talent. I think all of them have true potential to definitely do something as a team. But every time they get somewhere, they choke in a game and lose. I mean, they never finish their run. Every year they get so close, quarterfinals, semifinals, and they lose.
That's it. That's
whether it's to France, whether it's the
semifinals.
I
don't remember.
Didn't they go
best goalkeeper? Oh, we got Mr. Horkin pinning our own questions. That's great. That's phenomenal. Best goalkeeper. It's not a debate.
I'm sticking to my Brazilian international team, Alisson. I mean, he's done fantastic things for Liverpool. He has a lot of help in his defense with Virgil van Dijk, etc. But I think that if you look at the saves he's been making, maybe Bear will pull up his highlights soon. He's just been he makes saves that like I couldn't imagine. I mean, he steps up to the plate when he needs to. He's grown a lot. If you looked at him for the past couple of years, 2 years ago, you could see a lot about how his game has changed. A lot more fluidness, a lot more anticipating instead of just reacting. And I think that's really important in a goalkeeper and what they do. So I go to my Brazilian international team. I'll take Alisson.
Yeah, sticking to the Liverpool keepers. What do we think on Alisson getting injured and kind of costing Liverpool a couple games? If I'm being honest, you got Adrian in there, and Adrian just didn't play well, straight up.
Yeah, I mean,
against Atletico, who's terrible. I think it cost us that game. We working the highlights up there?
Yes, highlights right here for you.
Not only does he come out, not only does he make saves in really like inside the 6-yard box, he comes out, he's very assertive, he knows exactly what he wants to do. Like I said, he anticipates, not reacts, and I think that's very important to have in a goalkeeper. He's very, very valuable to his team, Liverpool. I mean, you see them without him, and you can see their win ratio has not been as high as it should be. I mean, they lost a couple games, and I truly do think that's because of a goalie lacking of talent with the goalkeeper. Hopefully, Alisson comes back for the season, and everything will be good. But for now, they don't look like they're in such a nice spot.
Excuse me, we are first place. I remind you.
You're out of the Champions,
but not in good spot.
Okay, we haven't won the Premier
spot.
League in 30 years. I want a Prem. I want it.
Not in the Champions League, you may say.
Okay.
Listen, I'm gonna go fill up my water bottle. I'll be right back.
We have 5 minutes, Joe. So
we have about 8 minutes left in the first segment of the Bratzee Hour podcast.
All right. Oblak is the best in the world from Daitha. That's a great take. I mean, he also has that clutch factor that I was talking about. But the only reason I take Alisson over him is that Alisson is very, very consistent. He comes in and day out and does his job for Liverpool. Whether he's not making the flashiest saves, he's not making saves that need to be, that need to like have him on the floor all the time. He's making saves that help the team. Not only does he help the team in a sense that he's great at passing the ball and finding open men, he also places it downfield perfectly. So that's why I take Alisson.
Alisson's good with his feet.
Exactly. And that's what you need to be.
Very comfortable passing back to him, unlike I am when I play with Mr. Joe Hall himself. Back to him, all of a sudden he just boots it straight up into the ceiling.
It's better.
I prefer to dangle. I prefer to go for some jukes.
Well, that's why what you have me and Joe, right? We can play both in the field and in net, and I think that's what really plays to our strengths in our indoor soccer, which you all should check out.
Terrible
Warriors, our Instagram at FC Golden Warriors. Plug that real quick.
We have another question from the crowd.
No, do not gonna do that. We're not doing that. I'll leave the call.
If you have to say a name, that's
Lucas.
I think it starts with a C and it ends with a N.
No.
Cameron
Kern. Thank you very much. I didn't know what you were thinking there. I was not going to say anyone else.
Smooth. Smooth looks. I would not call that a simp move only because it was Cam. But
Cammy K is my guy.
Cam has done a lot for the team. He's a great defensive player. Very and when time's winding down, he knows exactly what to do. So does Bear. I mean, sometimes we have time winding down, up by 1. We need to kill some time. What does Bear do? He grabs the ball and he boots it down the field.
He steals the ball.
Yellow cards make a true man gets yellow cards.
Mr. Bear, why don't you check out the doc according to Luke Henderson in the chat, and let's get his question going.
Luke Henderson is suggesting we check out the doc. I'll be right on that. Oh, he has written a full document about why Ronaldo is better than Messi.
Pull it up on screen. We'll let him read it.
All right. I can do that.
Oh, interesting.
All right, so here's the outline. The claim: Cristiano Ronaldo is the best soccer player in the world at the moment.
There's no claim for him to be. Let's see it. Let's read it.
Evidence number 1: Ronaldo holds the record for the most goals in the UEFA Champions League. We're talking at the moment. Okay,
we're saying at the moment.
Time.
It seems like
it's a very questionable thesis.
I'm sorry, I've read ahead, and all I'm seeing is you saying the greatest ever footballer for his country, most goal scorers of all time in the UEFA. You're not saying anything about now. I haven't heard.
Listen, Luke, I told you I agree with you at the moment he is, but you gotta listen when you're giving out these stats. You have to look at the stats of the previous, like recent years, maybe 1 to 2 years maximum.
Ronaldo is not the driving factor to his team's success. Tell me before this year, Juventus were successful every single year. The Juventus have been winning Champions Leagues, winning the league every single year. I'm not saying the Italian league winning, that's a big deal. But I'm going to say the Italian league has become a lot more competitive. But scroll out of that, James. That's his class work. But you can't really say that Messi is the driving factor for Juventus' success when you look at past years when they've won the Champions League very recently.
True.
They have an amazing defense. Manchester United didn't win much with Ronaldo there. Like, it wasn't like they were winning the league every year and they were winning the Champions League. It's not like they had great success. So
he was much younger back then. You have to look at how he played. Again, like Joe said.
Yeah, I know. But he made the point that Man United got irrelevant once he left. Were they really that relevant?
I'd say the only time they were relevant is when you had players like. No, that's a flawed argument. You can't talk about relevance of a team, right? I mean, back in the day, the Bulls were relevant when Michael Jordan played, but that's not why Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but the Bulls are not relevant now.
That's true.
The Bulls are not relevant. The Bulls are terrible.
They're not.
There's a case where Michael Jordan is a player like that, but did Ronaldo have an effect on?
Did Ronaldo make Real Madrid relevant?
No. They've had Zidane. They've had Ronaldo. It's not Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, because
not Ronaldo.
I love my Brazil team,
but like when you're going to the Bulls, Michael Jordan won 6 rings for the Bulls. That was one of the most dominant runs in sports history. Was Ronaldo that like? Did Ronaldo have that effect on them?
On Manchester United?
No. And that's a no-brainer. He did not.
Not to mention, it's not like he was there alone. He obviously had weapons.
Okay, so we're running low on time here. We got a minute left. So, anyone got any closing statements?
Final minute of Bratzee Hour, episode 1.
Thank you all for all the questions, the views, the comments. We appreciated all of it. I hope you all stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more content. Whatever you guys basically want us to talk about.
If there'll be another right now, we'd like to promote a special guest, an NBA star will be coming on the
asking
show.
A couple questions. And an NBA analyst that is on First Take sometimes is coming on. He's not coming. He has a couple questions that he sent us, and we have a very, very popular NBA player popping on with some questions before the next podcast.
He got robbed of the All-Star game.
It is said he had a lot of votes. So in the next couple days, we'll be on with that.
All right.
That's
7,
1.
5.
That's
4,
it for Bratzee out.
It's been Bratzee.
It's been Bratzee.
For sure. It has been Bratzee. Let's go.